Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss about basic elements of control system. So before going to the elements of the control system, we'll discuss about the purpose of control system and what is control system. Okay. So now the control system is nothing but it manages the system very effectively to get a desired output. Okay. In order to get a particular output, we need to control a system. Okay. So that's what they call control system. So we can just take a application. The application it starts from the thermostat in our home. Okay, we have a thermostat in our home to control the temperature, to detect the temperature. For example, if a temperature of a room is very cold, you can just increase the temperature with the help of it. And when it reaches warm, we can just reduce the temperature. So that's the basic use of control system in our home, and it increases in the industry. The automation, right? In automation, every automation industries, a control system is mostly used. And we have seen the control system. And now, what does mean by system? So, a system is nothing but it's a combination of many components, okay, uh, to perform a specific task. For example, you can take any applications. You'll have a sensor, you'll have a actuator, you have a display unit, you'll have a motor or something. So every component, right, in application, every component is called a system. So n number of elements desired to perform a specific task, we'll call it as a system. And you can just refer the block diagram of this, and we have a controller. The controller is a main part in the control system. It controls the whole application or a whole plant or system. The control system now have advanced mode. Okay, in early days we have proportional controller, error control, PI controller, PID controller, PD controller, right? And now we have developed many type of controller and algorithm. Many algorithm have been developed in order to make the system work very efficiently. So, and here we have a plan. Plan is nothing but application, right? And from the output, the feedback, right? The feedback should be taken from the output and it should be given to the input. Okay. So, we have a plant and we have the output is taken and given to the feedback elements or feedback network, and it is again given to the input. And the elements, right? Now we have come to the elements. What are the elements in the control system here is we have a plant. Okay, plant is the system which is control. It can be motor or it can be any other basic thing. And controller, it controls the whole unit. Actuator, so the actuator is nothing but it we will get some electrical quantity or any other quantity. It converts the electrical quantity into a physical that is rotational one. Okay, for the inputs, right, to the another one. So that is the actuator. Sensor, the sensor plays a crucial role because we need to get output from the environment. We need to give as the input to the system. For example, the thermostat, right? We need to measure the temperature. How you'll measure the temperature? We need a sensor to measure the temperature there, right? Whether it's hot or cold, what is the temperature? For everything, you need a sensor, okay? In order to measure, in order to predict everything. So it measures the plant's output. And now we have a controller. It compares desired and actual outputs. Before, how does the controller work? It's a brain of a controller. Controller is a brain of a control system. So it have to work. It have to work. How can we give the desired output? So it should be work like that. And the calculation and all, it work depending upon the controller. It changes. And next we have an actuator. Actuator is nothing but the muscle of this control system. And so we have valves, for example, motors and heaters or actuators. And sensors. The sensors are like the eyes of the control system. So we have encoders to measure speed or position, and thermocouples, it measure the temperature. And pressure transducer, it measure pressure. And we have humidity sensors, it measure the humidity. And we have fuel sensors to measure the fuels. We have a number of sensors. For example, in our mobile phones, right, we have how many sensors? We have sensors to predict the human eyes, human face, and predict the IV rays and all, right, nowadays. So here we have a question. Which component of a control system receives the error signal and determines the corrective actions? So we have sensor, actuator, controller, and plant. Okay. Which sensor, which component here which will receive the error signal here is controller. The controller receives the error signal and it will change according to the requirement of the system output. Okay. So controller is the main part to check the errors and also. So that's all with this basic elements of the control system. Thank you.